I came under the influence of Ignatian spirituality, Ignatian prayer, actually at St. Stephen's University. And let me tell you a very quick story of it really surprised me because I think I'd considered myself an absolute activist up until that point. And I met this lady named Lorna, and I walk into a room and it's in a circle, which already made me nervous. I was working on a master's program. So I walk into the class, it's in a circle, and she starts talking real softly. And then we prayed for a little while, and then she asked us, when we walked in the room, what did we think about the picture that was in the middle of the room? We had like a tablecloth coming out of it, and then some stones. And I thought, I don't know, I didn't think anything. And then as we went around the room, one lady said, "Oh, I thought that was when the minute I saw it, I thought it was the river of life, and the stones were different places in our lives, and the picture represented the source of life, and that might have been the cross." And she had this incredible, like 10-minute explanation of what she thought the minute she saw that vase. And when it finally came around to me, in no panic, I just looked at Lorna and I said, "I noticed that picture had a crack in it. That's all I noticed." And she shook her head, this professor, and she just said, "Oh, Phil." And that was my first encounter with Ignatian spirituality. And this is what I say now. It has become a major part of my life, of the daily reflections, the examines, but I am the least likely candidate for it. Number one, I have an attention deficit. Number two, I've been an activist my whole life, but running across and running into the teaching, not just Ignatian spirituality, Ignatian prayer, the whole package of Ignatian, I realized that that's sort of the way I was wired, but I had never put the two together. My wife found me a book called Contemplatives in Action. And that book basically unleashed in me an understanding, a self-awareness that I never have to apologize for being an activist, but I really have had to use what my spiritual father and what Dr. Bob had taught me about soul care. They were two things that went together. So the whole Ignatian way of ecstatic experience, but the daily routine of the exercises have been gone hand in glove for me. So it has deeply touched my life, and since then, over the last decade, I have shared this process with literally hundreds and hundreds of people, and invited them to investigate it themselves, to look at the Ignatian prayer, the Ignatian exercises, the spiritual exercises, and understand how that works together. The Vineyard is this works so well together because as the Ignatian exercises want to raise an awareness of God in all things, well, what's the mantra of the Vineyard? What's the Father doing? And let's do what the Father's doing. It's hand in hand. So, yeah, I found a soulmate in St. Ignatius.